Welcome to this module, Introduction to R. This is Dr. K. Kalaiarasi, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Mathematics, Kaveri College for Women, Trichy. What is R project? Versions of R exist of Windows, Mac OS, Linux and various other Unix flavors. And it was originally written by Ron Ikaka and Robert Gentleman at the University of Oakland. It is an implementation of the S language which was principally developed by John Chambers. How to compile C versus interpreted R? C requires a complete program to run. Program is translated into machine code, can then be executed repeatedly. R can run interactively. Statements converted to machine instructions as they are encountered. So this is much more flexible but also slower. What are R functions libraries? Implement many common statistical procedures and it provides excellent graphics functionality, a convenient space. Next, what is R programming language? It is an interpreted language, and to start we will review syntax and common constructs, function definitions, commonly used functions. And how to interactive R? R defaults to an interactive mode. A prompt is presented to users. Each input expression is evaluated and a result is returned in that way. Or as a calculator. So we can calculate all the values. It's like a simple arithmetic, operator precedence, exponentiation, basic mathematical functions are available, and the constant pi is predefined and circumferences of earth at equator in terms of kilometer. So what are the variables in R? It is like a numeric, Boolean, strings, and we can determine automatically the variable is created with the operator or as a smart calculator. So we can define the variables, and variables names are case sensitive. Variables names can include the period. So R does a lot more. It is definitely not just a calculator or thrives on vectors or has many built-in statistical and graphing functions. What are the R vectors? This is a series of numbers. It's created with to concatenate elements or subvectors. It's like a REP of means to repeat elements or patterns. A sequence means to generate sequences. So more mathematical functions and operators can be applied to vectors without loops. And how to define vectors? Repeat the numbers of 1, 10 times. It's written as REP of 1, 10. How to access vector elements? So we have to use the brackets operator to select elements. After selecting, use index or vector of indexes to identify them. How to exclude the specific elements means negate index or vector of indices. Next we can consider like the alternative also. How to access the vector elements? First select the first element, it is equivalent to x of c of 1, and we have to exclude the first element, and how we can compare each and every element, returns result as a vector. Finally we can edit. What are the data frames? Group a collection of related vectors. Most of time when data is loaded, it will be organized in a data frame. Let's look at an example. Setting up data set. Load from a text file using read.table. Create from scratch using data.frame. For example, this is the blood pressure data set. And how to access the data frames? Multiple ways to retrieve columns. The following all retrieve weight data. The following excludes weight data. And what are the lists? The collection of related variables similar to records in C created with list function, and how to access the components follow the similar rules as far as data frames. The following are retrieve X. Now let us consider common forms of data in R. Variables are created as needed, numeric values, vectors, data frames, list like that. And next we can consider the programming construct. So grouped expressions, control statements, if, else, for loops, repeat loops, while loops, next break statements. So next we will consider the grouped expressions, expression 1 and expression 2. It is valid wherever single expression could be used. Return the result of last expression evaluator. So relatively similar to compound statement in C. Next let us consider if, else. If the expression 1 or expression 2, else expression 3. So the first expression should return a single logic value. Operators and or all everything is used. Now this is the example of if else. Next this is the example for the syntax for name in expression 1, expression 2. Next, let us consider the example for loop. Repeat of expression means it's a continually evaluate expression. This is the example of repeat. Next, let's consider while loop. So this is the syntax while of expression 1, expression 2. And this is the corresponding example of how we can use while loop. I hope you have understood this module. Thank you for watching.